A brief foreword. This will clearly feature spoilers, and is for episode 21, ScareMaster. So if you haven't seen it yet, you might want to catch it on Daily Motion. ScareMaster may well be the most powerful, moving Fluttershy episode ever made. I would like to clarify this doesn't mean you're necessarily going to love everything that you see in this episode. This episode's strength comes from not just making the moral the strongest thing in the episode, see Canterlot Boutique, but everything in this episode builds up to the moral. Remember, the theme of the show is friendship, and it would have been easy based on that for the writer to have friendship cure Fluttershy, and find that the only thing she needed to overcome her problem was, well, just her friends. Instead, we're met with the very mature theme that her friends are made uncomfortable, as well as Fluttershy for being pulled out of the safety of her house and the comfort of her animal friends. Fluttershy and her friends have their nightmare nights significantly made less comfortable. Call me a rotten bastard, but this is the first time I identified with Rainbow Dash since the season premiere. Rainbow very clearly is dying to blow off Flutters, as this night has a very special meaning to a prankster and an overall big kid like Rainbow Dash. Ultimately, Flutter chooses at the end of this episode that this holiday simply isn't for her, despite both sides clearly having tried above and beyond to make things work. Instead of friendship, the writer chose the correct decision to allow Flutters to be isolated. It's cold and kind of depressing. It's bold in the last sort of ending you'd ever expect from MLP FIM. The moral is complicated, that finding the right thing for a friend is sometimes going to make them very uncomfortable. It's also going to very likely cheapen your overall enjoyment of something that's special to you. The harsh reality that both of you might find out that the sacrifice of these resources as being deeply unfulfilling. Fluttershy ends up right back where she began, but the lesson very much is she and her friends would never have known this without trying. This is clearly backed up by Fluttershy bringing up her singing with the ponytones, pulling her out of her comfort zone beforehand. Sometimes when you make bold decisions, you end up with outcomes like Canterlot Boutique, and your dreams come true. Fluttershy is confronted with her fear and stresses herself out, and puts a strain on her friends only to find out she had the right idea to begin with. This is about as close to sometimes life doesn't always give you the happy ending as I think we're ever going to get. We can go back and forth if it's the right choice to leave Fluttershy as she is. Honestly, there is no clear-cut dry answer. I find this deeply refreshing. Sometimes friendship, despite our best intentions through our hard work and sacrifice, just gives us a great big goose egg. At the end of the day, friendship doesn't fix the broken part of Fluttershy. Sit down and really just think about the fact that someone on the show staff just told you that. One more thing before we go. I came up with a headcanon based on a nitpick. Flutters is pulled out of her house because Angel Bunny was hungry, and Flutters returns later on without ever feeding Angel Bunny. It's highly possible Angel Bunny tricked Flutters out of her house to help her face her fears. Which do you find more enjoyable, the plot hole or the idea that Angel Bunny does have Flutters' best interests at heart? Thank you.